A critical step in achieving your energy reduction goals is the identification of which systems and equipment are significant energy users, to prioritize energy efficiency efforts based on where they will have the greatest impact. Depending on your sector, industry, or facility, what constitutes a significant energy user may vary. Common examples include production machinery, air compressors, and process heating or cooling in industrial facilities, and lighting, HVAC, and plug loads in commercial and institutional buildings. Understanding what should be considered a significant energy user in your facility is an important first step to managing them effectively. In this video, we will provide you with a framework to identify your significant energy users. You probably already have a pretty good idea of what the big energy users are in your facility. But it can be helpful to take a step back and define what it means to be a significant energy user before you dive into managing them. Developing this definition has two key benefits. First, it allows you to objectively evaluate your systems and equipment to ensure you are not missing significant energy users that should be actively managed, or including those that don't need to be. Second, it provides transparency and consistency among stakeholders who may have different views of what is considered significant. Developing your own definition involves identifying specific criteria for what constitutes a significant energy user, which you can then use to evaluate systems or equipment. The most common starting point for the development of these criteria is often what equipment or systems have energy consumption above a certain threshold. Depending on your organization's situation, you may want to consider some other factors, including: do you want to ensure that a certain percentage of total consumption is managed? How much opportunity is there to optimize equipment energy use? Is the equipment sub-metered? Are you able to control or influence how the equipment operates? Discussions with key stakeholders familiar with your systems and equipment is important to make sure you understand what needs to be considered for your specific situation. The next step is to define the specific criteria for evaluating your equipment. These criteria should be documented in the SEU criteria evaluation sheet of your Significant Energy User Management Workbook. As a general rule, you'll want to align your criteria with these organization-specific considerations, all the while ensuring a streamlined approach. To get started, we recommend having no more than 1 to 3 criteria, and don't worry, you can refine them over time. Just don't forget to make them specific. Examples of potential criteria include systems or equipment that individually account for more than 15% of total energy consumption, together account for at least 60% of total energy consumption, have energy consumption that varies based on set points, behavior, operation, or maintenance status, are currently metered, are within your control or ability to influence. Remember, you can't manage what you don't measure, so it is necessary to have some metering capabilities at the equipment or system level. Organizations often start with criteria that capture a small number of significant energy users and then modify those criteria over time to capture additional equipment. Now that you have a documented set of criteria, you can begin to evaluate your systems and equipment against them. Use the table below your criteria list in the SEU criteria evaluation sheet of your workbook. Copy your criteria into the column headings and list all of your energy-consuming equipment or systems in the table. At this point, it is good to be as thorough as possible to make the process comprehensive. Seeing how all your equipment and systems stack up against your criteria can also help you refine the criteria later. Each piece of equipment or system on the list should then be evaluated against each criteria, indicating yes if it meets the criteria for inclusion and no if it does not. Any assumptions or calculations used to evaluate the equipment or systems against the criteria should be documented to provide context and allow for reevaluation as better information becomes available. Having gone through this evaluation process, you should now have a short list of SEUs to manage. If your list is long and seems a bit overwhelming, you can modify your criteria to get a manageable scope of work. Remember that this whole process is about continuous improvement. It's not about doing it all. It's about taking the next steps to do things better. Now that you have some direction on where to prioritize your efforts, you can begin to establish processes to ensure your significant energy users operate efficiently.